All right, guys, so today we're going to be going over everything we know so far about PGA Tour 2K22 and EA Sports PGA Tour 22, and we're going to speculate on what I expect from the two golf games and how they stack up against each other head to head. If you want to see more videos like this, please do drop a like. It's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content. So let's get into it. So EA Sports obviously have a long and storied history with golf games. It's some of my earliest memories as a kid are the Tiger Woods games. Absolutely so much fun back in the day. You had the overspin, you had the power, you could like tap X to power your drives. But that was a long time ago now. Tiger Woods 2004, 2005, probably some of the best golf games ever. I think 2012 was a really good one as well. I don't know if it was 2012 or 2013. I think Tiger Woods 2014 was the end of EA Sports and Tiger Woods' relationship. They took a brief 2-year hiatus from golf games and came back with Rory Mcilroy in 2015 as the cover star. Now, this was a game I feel like that did have potential. It just came up short in a number of ways. They didn't have enough content. They didn't have enough licensed courses. They still had the fantasy fun factor with some of the courses, but there just wasn't enough to this game. Simple as that. They didn't support it enough. They did put in a few free courses after release, but it was too late, too little too late, and there just wasn't enough there with that game. And then after the failure of that game, they stopped making golf games altogether. The Golf Club 2019 had come out a year previous to this, and then the Golf Club 2 came out, and then the Golf Club 2019 was when they finally partnered with 2K, and that is when 2K got into the golf game. And this is probably when EA were like, oh, 2K are getting in the golf game, maybe we should get back on that. And 2K really put golf games back on the map. I'll say that much. The Golf Club did that. Golf Club did have problems. Obviously, it wasn't a perfect golf game, but I still had fun with those games. I did play all 3 of the Golf Club games, and I enjoyed them. They had this fun community factor around them, which is still around now in PGA Tour 2K21, which is, of course, the newest golf game. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about Rory Mcilroy, PGA Tour, and PGA Tour 2K21 because I've talked about them extensively on my channel already. Today, we're looking forward. We're looking to the new golf games that are coming out, PGA Tour 2K22 and EA Sports PGA Tour 22. Let's talk about what we know so far. So first off, let's talk about some licensing that is super important for these games. So 2K have signed a multi-year deal with Tiger Woods to be their new cover star and obviously a part of their games going forward, which is just monumental. Tiger Woods is the most famous golfer in the history of the sport, if not one of the most famous athletes in sports ever. So to have him as your cover guy is really no small feat at all. But they actually have to do something with this. You know, I feel like if it's the same as 2K21, where he's just going to be some guy that you can watch highlights of in career mode, it's not going to be as emphatic as it would be as if they came out and say you can play as Tiger Woods in PGA Tour 2K22. I think that would be absolutely massive, like really, really big. Because EA have a lot lined up with their licensing. They have all 4 majors, and you already know they're going to have a lot of the top golfers licensed as well, and you're going to be able to play as them. You're going to be able to play careers as them. You're going to be able to play just random rounds as them, and this is what I'm assuming, obviously, because that's the way it's been in previous golf games. In previous golf games with EA, that is. So we know EA has Augusta, which is huge. Like, that's not quite on the same level as having Tiger Woods as your cover star, but that is pretty damn close because you know how absolutely rancid Augusta can be with the rights to that course and the rights to the Masters and everything like that. So the Masters is going to be exclusively in EA Sports PGA Tour 22, and not just that, they're going to have all 4 majors licensed and fully in the career mode of EA Sports PGA. So that's just kind of like the major points of licensing for both games. But we're going to go through now. We're going to talk about all of the licensed courses in PGA Tour 2K22 announced so far, and all of the courses in EA Sports PGA Tour that have been announced so far. So as for PGA Tour 2K21, we don't have an exact list of any of the courses that are going to be in 2K22 yet, but we can kind of maybe assume that the ones that were in 2K22 or that were in 2K21 will be in 2K22 as well. So we got Sawgrass, we got Deer Run, we got Summerlin, we got Scottsdale, we got Atlantic Beach Country Club, TPC Twin Cities, Riviera Country Club, TPC San Antonio, TPC River Highlands, Eastlake Golf Club, Quail Hollow Golf Club, Copperhead, TPC Boston, TPC Southwind, TPC Louisiana, and AP Bay Hill Club, rather, and the Detroit Golf Club as well. But what we have to understand as well with PGA Tour 2K22 is it's going to have the course creator still, and that just leads to thousands of courses being in the game, and that's something that EA Sports PGA Tour is either going to have to match or are going to come up really short in that department, because no matter how many licensed courses they have, there's not going to be as many courses as there is in PGA Tour 2K22, simply just because of the course creator. I'm sure that the multiple courses that have been in 2K21, there's absolutely hundreds of awesome courses from hundreds of designers, top designers in 2K21, and that's something that EA is going to sorely lack if they don't have a course creator. But maybe they'll have to beat 2K in other areas like the online or certain aspects of career mode and stuff like that. That could be it. They don't have to go up against them head to head in the course creation department if they can beat them in other ways. So we're going to take a look at the full confirmed course list so far for EA Sports PGA Tour 2022, and this is obviously an early list. There's not that much info about either of these games out in the stratosphere yet, but Augusta National, of course, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills Country Club, Kiowa Island, Torrey Pines, the Country Club in Brookline, the old course at St. Andrews, we got St. Andrews Links, of course, Evian Resort Golf Club, TPC Southwind, Wilmington Country Club, and Eastlake Golf Club as well. I don't know if this means that Eastlake is not going to be in 2K21 or if it's going to be in both games. I'm sure it could probably be in both games. We'll see what happens, I suppose. Now, we have to assume both of these games are going to be made from the ground up to play on next generation consoles like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I would be sorely disappointed if they weren't, honestly. I think that's a must, especially with how long some of the loading times on PGA Tour 2K21 are. I've been getting really frustrated with that game recently. We need the upgraded systems, the upgraded load times, everything like that. Every benefit that comes with it. We need it. But before we go on to talk about the release dates of these games and when I think they're going to come out, I did want to go over the licensed professionals and what players are going to be in which game. So obviously we know Tiger Woods is going to be in PGA Tour 2K22. You'd have to assume Justin Thomas will be as well, and their 2K21 roster was Cameron Champ, Bryson DeChambeau, Matt Kuchar, Kevin Kisner, Gary Woodland, Billy Horschel, Ian Poulter, Tony Finau, Jim Furyk, Sergio Garcia, and Patrick Cantley. You have to imagine they're going to try and add to this roster, and I would assume 2K22 are going to try and have you play as pros as well. That's an assumption, because I already know EA Sports PGA Tour is going to have you playing as the pros if you want to. So I'm going to speculate here a little bit on what golfers I think are going to be in EA Sports PGA Tour 22 based off of the golfers that are not in PGA Tour 2K21 are at the top of their game, basically. So Dustin Johnson is one. I think he's like top of the list. He could even maybe be the cover star for EA Sports PGA Tour. John Ram is another one. He's he is the best golfer in the world at the moment, actually. Also Rory Mcilroy. I don't know the length of his contract with EA from the last game when he was the cover star, but he wasn't in PGA Tour 2K21. So I would safely assume he is going to be in the new EA Sports game. Maybe he could be the cover star again. But I don't know if they want a fresh start after what happened with the last Rory Mcilroy game. I think having Victor Hovland in there would be a big boost as well, just to have like a young up-and-coming star there. Maybe Colin Morikawa as well is another one who's at the top of his game and is kind of a young up-and-comer. They're kind of established already, Hovland and Morikawa, but you know what I mean. Could we have the potential to have Phil Mickelson in a golf game? Possibly not after his comments about the Saudi League and him saying he's going away for a long time now and he's not going to play golf for a while. That's probably a little bit problematic. Of course, Jordan Spieth as well was not in 2K21 and he was in Rory McIlroy PGA Tour, so maybe he still has some sort of long-term contract with EA. These contracts are very long, by the way. Sometimes these contracts can be 7, 8, 10 years sometimes, so that's why he probably wasn't in 2K21 and he might be in the new EA Sports game coming up. Spieth is obviously not one of the top golfers in the world at the moment, but he's still one of the top draws, and he's getting back to a high level now again. Brooks Koepka potentially could be in the new EA Sports game as well. So that's pretty much all of the top level male golfers, and we know that EA Sports PGA Tour will have the LPGA in it, and will have some high level female golfers as well that you can play as and that you can play against, of course. So that is a big boost to have the LPGA. I think that's something that will get them a lot of brownie points with the media, and we'll see how that goes as well. It would be awesome if they had actually a fleshed out LPGA Tour career mode as well. I'm hoping that EA PGA Tour career mode is more extensive than the 2K one, and more extensive than it was in the Rory Mcilroy games. If we could actually get some like cutscenes and animations of them lifting trophies and stuff like that, it would be great. Because like I really love that kind of stuff. Like say F1 2021 with Breaking Point, and FIFA even when it did the Journey, even though that didn't last very long. Just like certain stuff like that is awesome to have in these kinds of games sometimes. And 2K, will they follow suit and get some LPGA Tour players in there, or are they just going to stick with what they got? We'll see. That's kind of more of a wait and see approach. We don't know much about these games, as I said, as of yet, but I wanted to put it out there and kind of talk with you guys and discuss it with you guys on what you think is going to be coming up in the future, basically. So let's talk release dates, and let's talk release windows maybe. So PGA Tour 2K21 was announced in May of 2020, and it was released in August. Could something similar happen with 2K22? Absolutely. I think that would be more than acceptable time to release the game. August is always a good time for games that are kind of under the radar. I feel like that are not massive, because no games really come out in the summer. I feel like if one of the games came out in June and one came out in August, that would be massive. So maybe if we get more news about EA soon, they could either announce the game at the Masters and release it at the Open, or announce it at the Open and then release it down the line. But I'm sure that we're going to get more info about this game around the Masters in April, and maybe even go so far as to get a release date there alongside that. It would be a quick turnaround to have the game announced in April and then released in June. It wouldn't be unheard of, but it would be quite surprising to have the turnaround be that quick. But with PGA Tour 2K22, as I said, announcing it in May and releasing it in August is a fairly quick turnaround in and of itself. So we'll see. I think that's actually kind of a safe bet to assume that PGA Tour 2K22 is coming out this summer. I would be surprised if it came out this fall. I'd be very surprised, to be honest. With EA Sports PGA Tour 22, I don't know, because they haven't given us much since they said they delayed the game. They basically came out, we didn't even have really a release date, and they came out and said the game is delayed. So that was kind of confusing. Does that mean it's way off? Or like after some feedback, does that mean the game is way off? Or does it just mean that they're shifting the release window a little bit? They did say, this was in November when they announced the delay, they did say we will have more details on the game in the coming months, but it's been radio silence. It's now February, so that's 4 months on, and it's been radio silence since. So we can probably expect to hear more about this game soon. And like I said, maybe the Masters is the perfect time, even though April is still nearly 2 months away. So I don't know. It's interesting to talk and think about. I'd love to get your guys' opinions on which game you're more excited for, or what you think about my hypothesis of the games. I think career mode needs to be a big statement thing in EA Sports PGA Tour 22. If they have a good career mode, a good solid extensive career mode, I think that could help them a lot. And to have an online functionality like ranked multiplayer, societies maybe like 2K does, would be hugely important to the game's longevity. And that's kind of where, if you don't have a course creator as well, you're going to have to keep adding courses to the game to keep the longevity of the game alive as well. Because otherwise, people are going to get bored of the game like they did with Rory Mcilroy. That's what killed that game, to be honest, is the lack of content and the lack of, I'll say, quality multiplayer features. Whereas I feel like 2K21 is still alive today. It's still booming today because it has these social features. It has these societies, and I've built an amazing community around these tournaments that we do. And you know, it's so much fun to play with people in these games and have a community and kind of just, I don't know, you feel like you're a part of something. So if EA Sports could manage to capture something like that as well, it would be hugely important to that game's longevity, as I said. So let me know which camp you're in at the moment, if you're going to play both, if you're just going to play one or the other. EA obviously don't have a great reputation recently in terms of golf games, but I don't know. I feel like it could be different this time. I feel like both these games could maybe gel off each other and make each studio and make each game better. And that's kind of something that I'm excited about, to have two golf games at the same time. We haven't had that in a very, very long time. Two realistic golf games at the same time. It's been forever, to be honest. And I really hope that they are both top quality. It would be awesome. Of course, I'll be covering both extensively. I want to do two big reviews for both of these games. So hopefully I get them early enough to get some cool content out for you guys. And I will 100% be doing gameplay and playthroughs of both these games as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I'm going to have some cool stuff coming up on the channel within the next few months as well. We're going to be playing MLB The Show 22. We're going to be playing Gran Turismo 7. And you can get 20% off Rogue Energy using my code, TheApexHound, or using the link down in the description. It would be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys next time. It's been my distinct pleasure to serve you all. I hope I didn't really leave anything out, but I think we're good.